Your team doesn't trust you because you don't know how to listen. Let me repeat that. Your team doesn't trust you because you don't know how to listen. So who's this meant for? Well, if you have read the title, then you know it's how numbed leaders can rebuild their trust back up to over at least 150%. So the words standing out in all of this are being numbed. What's that? It's about trust. How does that work? It's about listening to other people. And the question is, do you think you are the perfect listener? Do you think, as a leader, that just because you say so, that it's true? And more importantly, that they understand why it's true? And maybe you don't even care why it's true. You just say, it's my word. That means it's true and you have to understand it. And that's the thing. What if they don't understand it? So let's talk here for a moment about being numbed and having people listen to you. Okay, so what do I mean with numbed? Numbed is when you're not fully there. Numbed can be the result of not feeling very good. Maybe you're ill, like all those people who have COVID nowadays. Numbed can be something is on your mind. Maybe a major business deal. Maybe something that's part of your personal life. Maybe something happened to one of your kids. Maybe you have to make an immensely important decision about something. Maybe your business got hacked for some reason or the other, and you have to do something like really right now. There are many reasons why you can be numbed. But numbed usually means there's too much going on in your mind. The things I just mentioned are basically things which get you numbed in the short term. So there are also things which can get you numb when you look at long-term things. For instance, take being traumatized. So if something has happened to you, and let's get back to COVID because it's an easy example. So COVID, of course, has given a lot of stress, especially to those who own businesses. I mean, what if you had to shut down your business? What if you weren't able to have the people work from home? What if you couldn't open up shop at all because of other circumstances? So were you able to keep your staff? Were you able to pay them? Were they able to keep coming? So did they have the possibility to work from home? Was the infrastructure there? As for those people with restaurants, especially now opening up it again, all those people found other jobs. And for those who did keep their personnel, what did they do in the meantime? So did you have enough savings to last through these times? Another example, still related to COVID. What if you fell ill? What if you fell ill for, say, 4 weeks or maybe even longer? What if you fell ill and you didn't make it? And you're not the only one in the company because you run the company with some other people. And, well, what if they fell ill and didn't make it? But what if you fell ill and you were like out of the running for over 4 weeks or longer and you need to recover? Maybe you've got long COVID. What if your staff got COVID and as a result you were short-handed? Just a number of things, which, by the way, are just related to one thing in this case, which is COVID. And of course, there are far more reasons why you could get numbed. Like I said, personal things can happen in your life, maybe with your family, with your friends. Maybe you. And the question is, what will you do once your mind gets stuck in, oh my God, what's going to happen if this, that, and the other? And you start worrying. And that's why I made this distinction between short term and long term. Short term is usually something you can work with or you can work around. So if you know something is really going on and you really need to do it like now, like for instance, all your computer systems are down or your payment systems are down or whatever it is, get the message out there, tell your people what to expect, and make sure that you've got some sort of contingency plan. So talk to your team and make them understand what needs to be done. And this leads me straight away to the point about listening. So listening does not necessarily mean you say something and they understand it. It doesn't mean that if you say something a certain way and you repeat yourself 3 times, that they understand it. This is what I want to convey to you. Listening is an art. Listening is a skill. Listening is more than 2 things you do with your ears. First of all, of course, the words have to come in. Then we need to be able to process it. Well, when you're numbed, as in you are thinking about other stuff, chances are you're not getting the full information, maybe not even half of the information. It's just your brain doesn't really function. And then there's the other part. What if you don't look at them and you don't interact with them and you don't process what they're saying? We don't get you. What do? Do you get mad? Do you get upset? Do you say, okay, I don't care, just do what I just said? That could happen too. Does that work? Well, I can tell you, no, that doesn't work. I mean, if people look at you with a blank stare in their face, or they shrug their shoulders, or they don't give you an energetic response or whatever, then you know that something is off. And it's up to you to get back in the mode of being that leader, which requires leadership, which requires leadership skills, and help them out. Because when you help them out, they will help you out. Because once they understand what you mean, that's when they can help you. When they realize that you may not know what they're not understanding, then they can tell you. But this is the thing, and then we get back to trust. Trust is a two-way street. And if they have the idea, and I'm sorry about this, I am still recovering from COVID, so the symptoms are gone, but the after effects are still going on. And well, that's probably why I mentioned COVID in the first place, but that's why you know why I'm sounding like this. So getting back to trust. Trust is a two-way street, and if you don't listen to them, then why should they trust they understand what they need? And if you're not fully there, if you are distracted for whatever reason, why would they even think that you would bother checking up on them? So there's a lot which can happen when you're not specific, when you're not fully there, when you're not around. And trust is the key item when we're talking about you not being there and about you being distracted. So do you have a right-hand man or woman, someone who can be in charge when you're not? And how do you communicate with that person? And how often do you communicate with that person? Do people know what's expected from you, by you, when you're not around? And you may think that everyone knows because they have their day-to-day jobs and the things they need to do. But what if something is off? What if something is different? What if they have done all that stuff? Then what do you do? What if they need your help with something and you're not around? It's when trust is in place that they know they can reach out to you. That's when they know, like, okay, I don't understand, but I can ask you and you listen to me. So when I don't understand it, I can ask you again until we've reached an understanding. That's what trust is about too, about understanding one another. So I'm going to give you some ideas. And let's start with the part of being distracted and numb. So when it comes to things short term, there are a couple of things you can do. Like you said, you can have some protocols in place. But if we're not talking about things that have suddenly happened during the day, but just about day-to-day things, make sure you drink enough, you rest enough, that you are prepared before you start to communicate with someone. Make sure there is a scheduled time so everyone knows when you are going to reach out and when they can reach out to you. So maybe like a walk-in hour for you. And whatever you do, be alert, be clear-minded. So if someone wants to talk to you from the home front, just say to them, sweetheart, I want to talk to you and we are going to. But unless you are in the hospital right now, if it can wait, let's do it in the next hour. But first I need to talk and get this stuff done. So everyone can get to work, then I'll have peace of mind and then I can listen to you without thinking, oh, but I still need to this, that, and the other. If something is bugging you, whether it's with your team or maybe something in your private life or whatever it is, maybe something which is going on in your business, talk to people about it. Don't keep it in. That's not going to work. Talk to people who know, who can help you. And sometimes it's not even about people who can help you and who have information. Sometimes it's just about having people around who listen to you so you can talk about it, you can process it. And on that note, what you can always do is write things down. And last but not least, and this is the most important thing, and I think I've already said it like a million times, talk to your team. Make sure they know what to expect. Make sure that they know what you need from them, but also that you know what they need from you. Be transparent. If needed, explain your why. Explain why you're not present. But don't ever let communication be the reason that people do not trust you. Don't let the idea of I'm the boss, so that's why they need to do what I say, be the main thing you communicate. No, you are a leader. And as a leader, you have certain responsibilities. It's not only to keep the business going, it's also to keep your people happy. And especially when are they happy, to keep them motivated, because that's when they are happy. When they feel trusted, when they feel respected, when they feel like, hey, we're contributing something. That's when you create a great team. That's when you create trust. And when you do that, it will work not only in your business, but also in your personal life and wherever you need it to be. Stay tuned for more things about trust, about reasons why you could be numbed, and if communication is your Achilles heel, and you would know after listening to this, I've got the link in here, which leads to Start to Speak Out Now, which is a very basic course about what you can do in order to be heard. And be heard also means that you understand what people are talking about listening, well, we've been through that. And if you say, but I don't have time to go to a course, well, then reach out to me straight away, because I also do one-on-one coaching and group coaching. You can do it. You're worth it. Your business is worth it. Your team is worth it. So be the best you can be.